Hi, this is Bill Cates, and welcome to your short course on referrals and introductions. In Lesson 1, we talked about getting referrals and introductions without asking for them. In this lesson, we're going to talk about asking for referrals and introductions without pushing or begging. In a nutshell, you have to be referable, and you have to be proactive. So here are the questions we're going to answer in this lesson. First of all, are referrals enough? Or is there something else you're looking for? Can you be proactive for referrals without actually asking for them? And how can you ask without looking cheesy or salesy? And how do you exit gracefully from your request if someone doesn't want to talk about referrals? And then what do you do next once you have one or more referrals? So here's my client acquisition hierarchy. On the bottom level is word of mouth. Now, word of mouth is good. We should all be getting that. But you can't always build a business just on word of mouth. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes it's not the right types of clients coming our way. So then we look to referrals. Now, unfortunately, the way a lot of people work referrals is there's very little connection. Your client will say, yeah, give George a call, tell him I sent you. Well, better than nothing, but certainly not as strong as a personal introduction, which is really what we want to get connection. In fact, ultimately, at the top is what we call champions. These are people who see our value, they like us, they want to help us, they know how to identify people, they know how to talk about us, and they know how to connect us. This is all about creating the highest level, strongest connection we can possibly get. Now, we found out in the last lesson that it's the engaged clients that refer. Engaged clients have a 98% referability factor, if you will, or giving referrals, but sometimes there's a disconnect in comfort saying they're willing to refer and they're actually referring. So that's why we have to become referable and become proactive. We have to turn this client willingness into client action. One way to do this without even asking is promoting introductions or promoting referrals. Sometimes I refer to this as planting referral seeds. So here's what I've been teaching forever. It works all the time. Don't keep me a secret. Simple thing, goes into their unconscious, and later they're having a conversation. They think about you, and boom, don't keep me a secret clicks in and gets you a referral. Now, I have seen this create more referrals on the spot than almost any other strategy I teach. And let me give you an example. Nick Davidson, he says, since I have a lot of fear around asking for referrals, I thought I would just start adding the phrase, don't keep me a secret, on all handwritten thank you notes and saying it at the end of meetings. In just 4 weeks, I received 10 referrals, set 10 appointments, and closed 7 of them just by saying, don't keep me a secret. Now, everybody's business model is different, so everybody's results will be different, but one thing we know is saying, don't keep me a secret works. It'll work early and it'll work often. Another way to promote referrals, on your outgoing voice message, you say something like, please leave a message at the tone. If you referred to us, please let us know who we need to thank. Now everyone who gets your outgoing message knows that you're working from referrals or introductions. You're saying thank you. You're celebrating. It's part of the culture that you build with your clients. On your email signature file, different ways of saying P.S., accepting new clients by referral only, or just by referrals, or don't keep us a secret. All the different ways to do this in your P.S. or your signature file. And what a lot of folks like to do is rotate these. So every month or 2 or 3 months, they'll rotate this with another one over time, and they cover all of these and more. Now, let's talk about asking for introductions with confidence. And I say with confidence because how confident you are makes a huge difference on the response you're going to get. So you want to be confident. And you can become confident with the VIPS method. It's a simple way. And here's an introduction into the VIPS method. It starts with a value discussion. We talked about that in lesson number 1. This is so important. It creates client engagement and gets your clients in touch with the value. Then you want to come from a place of confidence, importance, knowing that the work you do is important. That's what you bring to the conversation. And then you get permission to brainstorm or explore. You don't just plow ahead assuming they're willing to give you referrals. You get their buy-in to have this conversation. It softens it up just a little bit. And then you suggest names or categories. You come prepared. It's critical. George, I'm glad you see the value in the work we're doing. I'm glad I got a happy client. And, I wish I had more clients like you. You've been terrific to work with. And, I've got an important question to ask you. I was hoping we could put our heads together a little bit and see if we can identify a few folks that you think should know about the work I do, or at least be educated and be so they can make an educated decision. I was thinking of a couple of folks you mentioned last time. Can I run them by you? Well, what do you have in mind? Well, I was thinking about your Uncle Ernie, first of all. Looks like he's been pretty successful. Darn good chance I could be a great resource for him. How do you feel about introducing me to him? It's simple as that. They like you. They see your value. You ask for specific introductions to specific people or to categories of people you help. Now, who do you ask first? Where do you start with a VIPS? Certainly clients who love you. This is your low-hanging fruit of referrals, right? These are people, you could bumble through this, they feel sorry for you and give you referrals. You can't lose with this category. And then clients who've already given you referrals and introductions. You're obviously referable. They've obviously proven their willingness to make connections. Work your way to those people. And then clients you've met through an introduction. They're going to be more predisposed to give you introductions. And then, of course, clients you want to clone. I don't recommend you ask your biggest, best clients for referrals today or tomorrow unless they love you or you feel very confident. Sometimes you have to work your way up in confidence a little bit. So what if a client doesn't want to provide referrals or they just want to have the conversation right now? Well, some people call it the graceful exit. I call it the emergency exit. And it's really as simple as this. You back off with confidence. George, that's fine. Next time you recognize someone you think should know about the work I do, just don't keep me a secret. Makes sense? Or, Martha, that's fine. Look, I just wanted you to know that I'm never too busy to see if I can be a resource for others you care about. Fair enough? Fair enough. And then you're done. No harm, no foul. And we found that when you ask for referrals and don't get them now, quite often you'll get them later. And to avoid referral objections, here's a great strategy. Perhaps you've mastered this one. To avoid referral objections, don't ask for referrals. I mean, it pretty much works every time. And have fun with referrals. We found that folks who have fun with referrals, they do so well with this. There's no tension. There's no way of hurting relationships, and they get more referrals. So Art's a financial professional in Baltimore. When he's looking for referrals, he's brainstorming. He says, I'm looking for about 100 people. And his clients laugh, and they know Art and his sense of humor. And they say, Art, I don't even think I know 100 people. All right, how about 5? Now, 5's not so bad, right? And that's his sense of humor, and he gets away with it. Or do you know any lottery winners? Another way to have fun, right? We're just brainstorming here. Do you know any lottery winners? Have fun in your way, with your sense of humor. When you have fun in your way and you're authentic, any kind of tension or whatever diffuses totally, and you just have a great time and get referrals. This isn't about being slick or tricky or trying to manipulate someone into doing something they don't want to do. It's about being sincere. They found the value, great. You know the value, great. Let's see if we can bring this important work to other people. It's as simple as that. Look, your biggest client ever is just one referral away from you. So, getting referrals and introductions without asking for them, check. Asking for referrals and introductions without pushing or begging, check. What's next? Turning the referrals you get into introductions. So just click the green graphic there, and we'll take you to the next lesson so you can start turning referrals into introductions and solid connections. This has been Bill Cates. We'll see you over in lesson number 3. Thanks for watching.